focused on these words. The best thing I can do for myself at this moment is just to focus intently on this audio. Just making an effort to sacrifice thoughts that come to my mind and take away my attention, and then focusing on the words of this audio. Coming back to the audio if I ever lose focus. This audio is made effective only while I'm focusing on it, and pondering the questions that come up. Yet the results will certainly be lasting. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Why do we go to bed each night? We become aware that our body is worn out, which gives us the desire to rest. We respond to it by laying down in a comfortable place. We go to bed to rest, instinctively knowing that in so doing we give the body the chance to rejuvenate. Just staying focused on these words. Sleep is not nearly as far away as you might imagine. It's not on the other side of the veil, nor achieved by finally hitting the off switch through desperation, but rather, sleep gently creeps up on you entirely without your awareness. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. You have trillions of cells constantly working in your body. Each one is more complex and intelligent than a supercomputer. Your body is not foolish or unresponsive, it's intelligent and living. Right now, your body is keeping you alive. Your heart is pumping blood through your body. Your lungs are breathing air. Your kidneys are detoxifying. And much more. And so, I hand over responsibility to my body, which handles everything with great efficiency. My highly intelligent body handles all basic necessities on its own. The air it breathes, the food it digests, the water it absorbs, and just as equally, the sleep it generates. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. The actual process of falling asleep is so smooth, gentle, and subtle that we never even notice it happening. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Despite never succeeding at your so-called job, do you still fall asleep each night? If so, how does that happen? Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than trying to fall asleep, I can rest in the knowledge that it's not my job to fall asleep, and that falling asleep happens in gradual automatic timing. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than trying to enforce the moment I fall asleep, I can rest in the knowledge that sleep creeps up on me without my awareness, and that it's not my job to fall asleep. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words, since I do not have the ability to force myself to fall asleep, nor choose the moment I fall asleep, nor prevent myself from waking up during the night. I'm not responsible for the possibility of sleeping poorly and being tired tomorrow. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words, again, since I do not have the ability to force myself to fall asleep, nor choose the moment I fall asleep, nor prevent myself from waking up during the night. I'm not responsible for the possibility of sleeping poorly and being tired tomorrow. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words, and again, since I do not have the ability to force myself to fall asleep, nor choose the moment I fall asleep, nor prevent myself from waking up during the night. I'm not responsible for the possibility of sleeping poorly and being tired tomorrow. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words, rather than trying to immediately jump from being awake to asleep. I can rest in the knowledge that beyond any awareness, we very gently and subtly lose track of ourselves and get lost in the images of our mind. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words, rather than thinking I'm responsible for how refreshed or not I might be tomorrow. I can rest in the knowledge that it's not my job to fall asleep, and therefore I'm not responsible for it. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words. As a child, did you ever plan or hope to fall asleep when you went to bed, or was it just a natural and smooth process? Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words, rather than trying to forcefully take control of things. I can rest in the knowledge that I'm able to fall asleep without trying, like I did when I was a child. Because it's never been my job to fall asleep. It's not my job now and never will be. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words, rather than expecting to observe myself fall asleep. I can rest in the knowledge that falling asleep unfolds subtly without any awareness of the process. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words. Have you ever once succeeded at forcing yourself to fall asleep? If not, what does this suggest? Just focusing on these words, Just staying focused on these words. Do you ever remember falling asleep each night? Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Do you ever know at what moment you'll fall asleep? Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Do you ever remember any of your last thoughts before you fall asleep? Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than expecting to remember my last thought as I fall asleep, I can rest in the knowledge that I never know what my next thought will be. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than thinking my situation in bed is fixed, I can rest in the knowledge that I also regularly get caught up in more pleasant thoughts than this. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than thinking any anxiety in bed is fixed, I can rest in the knowledge that from time to time, unrelated thoughts grab more of my awareness than anxiety does, some of which thoughts effortlessly take me away into sleep without any awareness of the process. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than focusing on the desire to fall asleep, I can rest in the knowledge that it's not my job to fall asleep, and that falling asleep happens automatically. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than trying to keep track of time, I can rest in the knowledge that I have an empty schedule all the way up till tomorrow, and that I have no job to do before then. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than focusing on any anxiety, I can rest in the knowledge that anxiety is just a symptom of a root cause belief, the belief of which is increasingly being dismantled. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Rather than thinking I'm supposed to be doing something, I can rest in the knowledge that I have no job here, and I'm able to enjoy whatever rest is available. Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words. Do you not have a lost track of time once the process of falling asleep begins and you start drifting away? Just focusing on these words. Just staying focused on these words, rather than thinking about what time it may be. I can rest in the knowledge that as I unknowingly start to fall asleep, time subtly fades away from my mind. Just focusing on these words, just staying focused on these words, rather than thinking about any future daylight. I can rest in the knowledge that it's dark for me right now.